Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to this instance of the Antrea community meeting. Today is Wednesday, January the 17th, and we deferred our call by 24 hours as it was a public holiday in the United States. So we have a fairly packed agenda for today. We have a first topic about a solution for using different images for the Antrea agent and the Antrea controller. And this is Pulkit will be talking to us about this initiative. Then a couple of discussions proposed by LAN. First, to increase the minimum support to the Kubernetes version to 1.19 with reference to issue 5879, and then discuss whether we want to do a major version bump in Antrea to Antrea 2.0. Okay, so since we have a very packed agenda, let's get started. And Pulkit, over to you.
Thank you, Salvatore. I'll switch the screen. I hope my screen is visible.
It is for me.
Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to talk about the split Antrea image task. So these are our major points of discussion for today. What is the introduction about the topic, then the motivation behind it, and how we implemented the solution, and then the final result. So talking about the introduction, or like what the task is in brief, that we have thought of splitting the Antrea image into two different images. One is for Antrea agent and another one is for Antrea controller, so that we can reduce the size of particular components. Like instead of using a single unified image, we could have two different images that could be lesser in size and can save time. Now, moving forward, what is the motivation behind this task was, so the current problem that some of the users face was that Antrea agent waits for the Antrea controller to come up whenever we apply Antrea in our Kubernetes cluster. And since were using only a unified image of Antrea, so that image was large in size, and the same image was getting loaded into Antrea agent as well as Antrea controller pod containers. So whenever this image was getting loaded, so sometimes it takes more time to get loaded than usual. So Antrea agent waits for the Antrea controller, and if it does not find that the Antrea controller is up, then Antrea agent goes into a crash loop back off state. Or we can say that Antrea agent does not come up to a running state, because of which the user face problem. So to tackle this thing, we came up with a task that we can reduce this. Instead of using a unified image, we could have two different images, so that the size is lesser, and when the images are getting loaded, only that particular image, like suppose for Antrea controller, only the Antrea controller image would be loaded, and it would be much lesser in size, so it would take very less time. And in turn, Antrea agent would not have to wait for the Antrea controller for long to come up, and this issue can be eradicated. So this was the main motivation behind this task. So we had an issue to track this task. Moving forward, that how we implemented and how we reduced the size for the Antrea agent and Antrea controller. So basically, in the unified image that we had, in that we were using the we were installing the IP tables libraries, we were having the Surikata dependencies, we were having all the CNI binaries like loopback, port map, bandwidth, and all these binaries were there. And then we were building the Antrea agent, also Antrea agent, Antrea controller, all in the single Docker, all in the Docker files, and all OVS related dependencies were also there. But now the question was, if we think, then for Antrea controller, all these things like IP table, Surikata, OVS, and the other CNI binaries, they are not required. And also, like when we are building the final Antrea/Antrea Ubuntu image, so then we were building all the binaries like make Antrea agent, Antrea controller, Antrea CNI. So all these things are again not required by the Antrea controller, and they were just unnecessarily increasing the size. So what we did was, we when we separated the Antrea controller image, we removed all these dependencies. The image was just a basic image with using Ubuntu as its base image and only installing the dependencies and building the binary specific to Antrea controller and removing all the other binaries. So this way we achieved a reduction in size for the Antrea controller. Now for the Antrea agent, to reduce the size of the Antrea agent, since all the binaries like IP table, Surikata and the other CNI, they are required by Antrea agent. So much reduction cannot be done there, but yeah, still there was a reduction that we can copy only the Antrea agent specific binaries when copying the binaries in the Docker file. So there, from there we got a reduction for the size of Antrea agent as well. So this was the basic idea while implementing this. So we had a PR open for this one, and as a result, the final size for Antrea controller that we get on a local system, these are the sizes on the local system, these are not the compressed image sizes. So for Antrea controller, the size was approximately 280 MB, and for the Antrea agent, the size was approximately 380 MB. And if we compare it with the original image size, the unified image, so that in the local system, like in which I tested, so that was about 770 MB. So this is what the reduction. Now, if we see, the reduction is very large, like because previously Antrea controller need to load the image that was of size 770 MB, and now it has to load only an image of size 280 MB. So which reduces the time a lot, and it can help in resolving the issue which many of the customers might face. So this was the brief of how we splitted the image into two different image and how we got the reduction. So
I,
anyone has,
Packet, I have a question. I see for Antrea agent, the only removed binaries is Antrea controller. However, the total image size was reduced more than 300 megabytes. So what are the how? I don't think Antrea controller occupies 300 megabytes, right?
yeah,
Then how it got to this 380
sure,
from more than 700?
sure. I'll once again I'll share another screen and I'll show the Docker file in the PR. I hope my another screen is visible.
Not for me.
Oh, one second, I can share the screen. I hope it is visible now.
Yes.
Okay. So you can see here, like previously what was happening was when we were copying the binaries, then we were copying all the binaries that were there in the bin folder. So there were certain binaries which were not required, and but they were built when we were building the binaries, and all of them were getting copied there. But here in case, but they were not required actually. So what I did was I specified the required binaries here. Like for Antrea agent, the binaries that are required was Antrea agent, Antrea CNI, and CTL binaries that were there, and I copied only these three binaries to the user local bin instead of if we see the original, then we were copying the entire binary folder here, but that was not required. So this had the major reduction in the size here, apart from the
Uh, Regardless which command you use to copy the image, the binaries, I assume for Antrea agent, it only remove the Antrea controller, right? Does
yeah,
it remove others? But Antrea controller, I feel it's only about 100 megabytes. How
yeah.
could it reduce more than 300 megabytes size?
Okay, so if I show you the original binaries folder once, one second. So here you can see that here the entire binary folder is getting copied, and in this binary folder there were some other binaries as well apart from Antrea agent, Antrea controller, and Antrea CNI, like and CTL coverage and these binaries. But then we have the and UBI binary. So all these binaries were entirely getting copied. Not only the Ubuntu specific, but all the binaries that were getting built here, that were getting copied. So, but they were not required in case of the Ubuntu image for Antrea. So only those three binaries that are there. Like if I show you the bin folder locally, second. My screen. So there are these many binaries that are there. Like we have the Antrea agent simulator, which is there. We have the flow aggregator binary, which is there when we are building the binary. But these are not required to be copied in the Antrea agent image. But when we were using the star, then all these binaries were also getting copied. So instead of copying all these, I copied the specific binaries like AntCTL, and then we have the Antrea CNI, the Antrea agent. So this is how the reduction in size was achieved.
I don't think we will build flow aggregator or other coverage binaries with the coverage suffix when building the release image. I checked one release image. It contains only 4 binary. Yeah, and others are script. Yeah, maybe you could take a look at. So it seems to me, we at the moment we can't explain why the image for Antrea agent was reduced to more than 300 megabytes if the only removed binary is Antrea controller. Yeah, for flow aggregator, they are not in the release image, and also for the other coverage binaries. I have confirmed one image 1.14.1.
And
Because when you see this, it's because when you test an image or when you run some test command, it will automatically build this extra binaries. But in the release workflow, we just run exactly commands to build necessary binaries. So most of them will not be included in the release image. But let me check what's the exactly size of
I think the latest Ubuntu Antrea site, the unified one, is not 700. I think it's 500.
yeah, then that makes sense. Yeah, because if we remove Antrea controller, it should reduce like 100. Then it should come to 400, around 400, right?
Mm. Yeah, I guess
so
Phuket is checking the one locally, and maybe that's a bigger one. Phuket, maybe you can double check the latest image size, and you can update the data.
sure. Actually, there is a misconnection in the office today. So the Wi-Fi is not working here in this office. So that's why the call is getting disconnected.
Thanks.
And do we have anything else on this topic?
Actually, I have two comments. This is already a great work, I think, and I think maybe we have two action could possibly to be taken to further improve to reduce the size. One is right now Antrea controller and the Antrea agent image will have the same anti-CTL binary, which occupies about 100 megabytes. However, the images will copy the binary in different layers. So I guess it would just occupy extra 100 megabytes. But if we change the doc file in some way, I feel maybe it's possible to have a common layer that shares the binary, the anti-CTL binary. So maybe the total size occupied on a node could be reduced a little. Yeah. And another is I see that even our features are much our CLI has much less features than kubectl. We have the size is much larger than kubectl. So I feel there is still a space to improve. Maybe we have some unnecessary import, or maybe it is how we build the image, the binary. Yeah. Currently, kubectl has only 50 megabytes, and anti-CTL has more than 80 megabytes. Ideally, I think it should be around 40 megabytes.
Yeah, Chan, I will surely work on this. So one suggestion that I had for this was that instead of using the Ubuntu as base image and the other things, we could build the image from the scratch using like the Bazel build approach that these Cube API server and all these things are using. So they are building the images from the scratch. So we could make use of that, and then also we could think of removing the unnecessary imports that we are doing.
Yeah, we can achieve it gradually. I don't mean in one release. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, hello, Salvato. Maybe I can continue for the next two
Sure.
topics.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. I think these two topics. This one is a minor one. It's actually following issue which we discussed in PR comments. Since we announced that the minimum supported Kubernetes is 1.16 for now, and we probably need to increase the minimum version. And we discussed this before in the issue and the PR. So I like to bring this topic in the community meeting to see if we can go ahead with this one to, increase the number. I saw that Antony left a comment yesterday, so I'm not sure if there are any comment from the members. Or is any, sorry.
For increasing to 1.19, I don't have a comment, but if we want to increment the requirement to 1.25, I feel we should check whether the older releases like 1.24 are still widely used in public clouds or some Kubernetes distros. I remember, they're always older than they use the versions out of Kubernetes official support, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, okay. I personally feel that we can increase to 1.19. No hurry to increase the number higher. So if we agree that we can increase this one to 1.19, I guess we can have it on the milestone 1.16. And I already added one item. This is there was a discussion before. We need to add the deprecate field for those old API versions. And this actually, Anthony mentioned before that it's introduced since 1.19. So we can, or we need to add this one. And I guess there are also some document update. I will add another item later. I'm not sure if there's any other themes I didn't notice, or you think we have more themes to address for this item. Please add more comments here, or just let me know. Yeah, okay. I think this one will be a short one. And another one is about the Antrea 2.0. Chen opened this issue, I think, a long time ago. And most of the items we need to address and already been finished. So let me go through the items. Here, actually, there are two items remained in this issue. One is we just discussed, so I guess we can have it. Another one, I guess we don't have to discuss this one. We just need to graduate the Helm support. For other items, I think the version related or feature gate related, we already discussed this before, and this item has been actually is down. And I think the remaining item is this one to check and update any internal clients if they're using wrong APIs. Because last time I think we already have some small peers to address the issue that some of our APIs already upgraded to the alpha, to the beta or higher version, but the client is still using the old one. So I'm working on this one. Looks like there are not much issue here. Maybe some small changes required. Another one is for the configuration options. I think there was a old PR which I created, but not finished yet. We can have it in our 2.0. For this item, I think one thing we need to discuss is that do we want to have the 1.16 to be our entry 2.0? Or is there any other remain items we haven't listed here, and you think of that we should put it here? Then we may discuss today, I guess. Any thoughts for this? Okay. Do we have any comments? If should we, make the 2.0 in next release? I mean the 1.16, or
Yeah.
we feel it might still some improvement rules for the repo?
The thing is that I do not know. That's I don't have a very strong idea. But typically when there is a major version bump, it's typically because we are changing something big, like doing some major change in the architecture, introducing new APIs that break backward compatibility. It is true that in many cases you do this based on, let's say, cumulative promotion of features. So the thing is that if you ask me, I think that Antrea, we could stay on 1.x forever. unless unless we want to go into the cumulative feature addition discussion, in which case, yeah, maybe you can say, okay, now it's time for calling it 2.0. But if you ask me why it should be called 2.0, what are we doing that we should call it 2.0? I will not be able to quote anything particular. So I don't know if anybody else has a different opinion in the team. The thing is that if you ask me why this should be called, this next release should be called 2.0, I don't think that I have a strong opinion about what could justify this. I don't know, yeah, please prove me wrong.
Yeah, actually, I would say I feel the same as you, but I'm not sure our maintainers, Chuan, Zhenjun, or Antony, has any thought about this, or we maybe we can decide for the next after the release after 1.16. Or Vicky, any comments for this?
I don't think there's a strong reason to do it, but I don't think there's a strong reason not to do it either. So it's not like we're not a library that other projects import and consume through APIs, and so I think we've been talking about this for a while. So yeah, just like there was no strong reason to release Antrea v1 when we did. It could have been like a release before, it could have been a release after. I don't think there's a strong reason not to release like Antrea v2 and do an announcement and talk about like API maturity or something like this.
So I believe we already graduated some features to GA, so maybe it might be a good indication that we can announce 2.0. But I'm not sure it's okay with a lot of alpha feature. It should be. I guess it's okay for that. Since
there will always be some alpha features.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, as long as we keep developing Antrea. So the existence of alpha features shouldn't affect the release milestone.
Okay, I guess we don't have a strong objection about this. The one remaining thing is about which release we might be proper for this new version. It's 1.16 or 1.17.
I think we have not any hard deadline for the Antrea 2.0, but I think if we get ready, then we can do that.
For this issue, which we tracked the items, I think most of the items are ready. These two should be a small one, and the remaining item also small items, I think. So I feel we can put it in 1.16, and let's see, any objection for this, or
yeah, it's good for me. Yeah, for 1.16, maybe we can have enough time to prepare for that.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so our target is to mark the 1.16 as the with 2.0, right? Do we agree that?
Yeah, I'd vote for that, yes.
Okay. Okay, Jianjun, do you have any comment for this?
No, so 1.16 sounds good to me.
Okay.
But let's make sure we finish all the API change, right? Let's review again and make all the necessary changes before that.
Yeah, sure. I think there are still some small items here we need to address in 1.16, and after that, it should be okay. There's no big changes.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
earlier we talked about some ideas about material API chains. Probably let's revisit all these ideas.
You mean some new features or?
Probably I don't have a complete list, but we did talk about ideas like change the IP pool, sublet definition, whatever.
Okay.
I think this kind of change, if we can make it before 2.0, it can be better.
Okay. So maybe we can think about it more offline, and we can check if any other things we missed.
Yeah.
Then we can discuss the offline. Maybe through the email. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
API, and also the config option if you want to make any changes.
Okay. API and the configuration changes, right? Okay. Okay, thanks. Any other comments? Anyone has more comments regarding this?
No, not from me.
Okay. Okay, thanks. So I think that's all topics from my side. Thanks.
Thank you, Lan. And we have come at the end of today's the topics in today's agenda. So is there anything else that we want to discuss? Anything else that you want to bring? Bugs, concerns? Okay, so there's also I too don't have any other topic too, so I believe that might be all for today. I would like to thank all the presenters for today's meeting, and also thank you all for attending. From the next meeting, we will be back to our normal schedule, with the meeting being at 5 a.m. GMT on Tuesday, meaning that the next meeting will be at 9 p.m. Pacific on Monday, January 29th, or 1 p.m. China time on Tuesday, January the 30th. However, we have our next meeting mid-February, which I believe falls during the Lunar New Year festivities in China. And therefore, I will follow up with you on our Slack channel to figure out an alternate schedule for our next meeting. All right. Thanks, everyone. And thanks again for joining. And I wish everyone a good evening, a good afternoon, or a good day.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.